So thank you guys for coming on this evening to the competitions webinar. So I'd like to welcome Josh from Playways that's with us this evening to go through the platform. So some of you, most of you will probably be on from a league perspective, from a South Wales Women's or a North Wales Women's League. But as well as those two leagues, we're also going to be using Playways as our national competitions platform this year. So we'll deliver National Cup finals through it. We'll deliver youth school finals and anything else that we can think of, to be honest. So I'm not going to do much more talking. I'm going to hand over to Josh, who's the guru. He's assured me that it's not going to take that long unless you ask lots of questions. But please use chat function or unmute and ask questions as we go through. So over to you, Josh. Thanks.
Cool. Thank you very much. So what I'm going to do today is I'm just going to literally introduce you guys to the Playways platform. Introduce you to the Playways platform from a Hockey Wales perspective, obviously. Quick 2 or 3 minutes on just literally basics. And then I'm going to dive into one of what we call communities. So a community on Playways is essentially a hub to host things. Those things might be leagues, there might be activities, there might be tournaments, there might be teams. They can be a whole variety of things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the National League community to demo everything today. It may be that that's not relevant to some of you. It will look exactly the same whether you're looking at it from a South League or a North League perspective. So don't worry if I'm contextually wrong, but hopefully it will all make sense. I'm just going to get my screen shared. Hang on a sec. So when you first log into Playways, we'll send out instructions on exactly how to get to this point after this call, because there's kind of still a few bits to sort out there. But essentially, when you've created your account on Playways and you land on it for the first time, you're going to land on a screen that looks a little bit like this. Now, to briefly explain this is a page that we call My Play. So it's essentially aimed at being a personalized screen to each user. So everything that is relevant to you, all of the things that you are in. So there's a network here and a community here. Now a network in your world will be Hockey Wales. Hockey Wales will have a network on Playways. And then within Hockey Wales, there'll be 3 communities, like I mentioned earlier. And you guys are likely to be a member of all of those 3. So your My Play here would look very different to this. It would just be Hockey Wales content, but mine's obviously sprawled with lots and lots of different stuff that I'm part of the system in lots of different places. So to briefly explain this a bit more, on the left hand side you've got what we call an activity feed. Now this activity feed, again, personalized to you. It's all the things that if Amanda pushes some content out to you, it will display on that activity feed. If you've got a fixture that's coming up and we're sending you a reminder about it, it will display in this activity feed. If you need to set your availability for a fixture that's coming up, it will display in that activity feed. So absolutely everything that or nearly everything that you need to know about your sport or about your league should be in that activity feed. So it's almost a one-stop shop for everything that you need in the system. Moving down, we've then got things that you have favorited or things that you are a part of. So if you guys are in teams, eventually when we get there and you're members of your teams and you're members of your team sheets, then they'll appear here. So if you're a member of Cardiff University women's team, then Cardiff University women's team would appear here. So this page is really just aimed at making everything really extremely accessible. As we work through the system, this hopefully will make a bit more sense. Probably should have come to this at the end, to be honest. And then at the bottom here, we've got a calendar. So everything that's coming up again in your world, everything for the next month, that'll be fixtures, any training sessions, if they're run through the platform, will all appear in that calendar. So a really nice one-stop shop. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is just dive into Hockey Wales. So click into the network. So the Hockey Wales network looks like this. As I say, this is the house for everything that Hockey Wales have got going on Playways. So like you can see, there's 3 communities, like I mentioned earlier. There's the Hockey Wales National Comps, there's the North Wales Women's Hockey League, and the South Wales Women's Hockey League. So only 3 communities at the moment. I don't expect that to change. I expect it to stay with 3 for the moment. Now what I'm going to do from this network, as I say, it just acts as a house. So I don't expect you to be doing anything from this network. It literally just acts as the overarching place for things to live for Hockey Wales. If I click into national competitions, now this is what we call a community. This, as I was mentioning earlier, is going to house everything that Hockey Wales national comps are running. So the leagues, likely to be the North Wales Women's Hockey League, any tournaments that are running, we can ignore events for now, and then the teams. So once teams are in here, they'll all appear on the sidebar here, and you'll be able to see all of the teams that are taking place in that national competitions community. So in terms of what I expect you guys to be doing, when you come on the system, I would imagine that a lot of setup is going to have already been done. So I'm kind of expecting that, by the sound of our conversation prior to this, that leagues are going to have been created and teams are already going to have been created for you. So everything that is going to need to have been set up is going to be on the system for you, which makes your lives really easy. So if I take the league, for example, now North Wales Women's Hockey League, nice and simple, sits there. Now, I expect this is largely, first and foremost, what you guys are going to be interested in. The league table, see how you're doing, look at your fixtures, look at the results, and generally be able to see what's going on in the National League. Now, with the league, I expect there are several divisions to sit within that league. There would be a toggle on the left-hand side for you to be able to access this. But within this league, when your teams would obviously sit within there. So if you're a member of Cardiff or Bangor Women's Twos, then Bangor Women's Twos is going to have its own what we call team hub. Now, every team has got one of these, and you can see that this kind of acts as like the one place to come, but everything to do with your team is going to sit in here. So you've got your squad, so everyone who may participate for Bangor City Women's Twos across the season will sit in that squad. You've got kit colours that can be set by whoever we deem necessary to be able to set them. You've got access to all of your fixtures, access to a calendar. Now, what that calendar means is that if I click on that, based on leagues being set up using this calendar, you can really easily see when your fixtures are coming up. So you can see that based on a test league, this is only test stuff that I've got in here, so don't worry about any of it being serious. This calendar is going to show you all of the upcoming fixtures. So if we look at the month of October, you can see that for Bangor City Women's Twos, there's a fixture every Saturday, barring the 30th. So if I click on the 2nd, for example, it's going to show me that I've got a fixture against Cardiff University Men's Twos, which doesn't quite make sense because I'm sure the women don't play the men. And then moving down, I've got what we call team sheet selection. So what's obviously going to be expected of you guys is that prior to each fixture, a team sheet is going to have to be selected. Now, even before we get to that stage, about depending on the time of the time frame that we select, there's going to be a period where your squad members are going to select whether they're available or not. Now, that's going to be driven from the activity feed that I mentioned earlier. So when we first landed on Playways, that activity feed is available on both web and app. So we're going to send notifications to your team members, to your squad, to say, are you available for the upcoming fixture? And what they're going to expect us to do is just simply say yes or no. So you're either available or they're not. So when you're a club admin or a captain coming along to each fixture, so I know I've got one coming up on October the 2nd, let's say it's Wednesday the 29th, I'm about ready now to select who I want to take to that fixture. So using this screen here, you're going to have people that we're going to sit in available or unavailable. So let's say you've got 15 people that have said they're available, but 3 people are on holiday, so they can't go. You know that you're picking from those 15 people. So using this drop down here, obviously there's no one in there, so I can't do it. You would literally just be able to go through and go, right, tick, 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 tick. I'm selecting you, and those people would then appear in selected. So that's how you guys would be completing team sheets. As I say, it's all accessible from what we are. Oh, need to move my face out of the way. It's all accessible from this screen here. So this team hub, as I'm calling it, is where I expect lots of you to be completing pretty much all of your actions. It does act as your hub on the system for that team. Now, appreciating that lots of you will have multiple clubs, or multiple teams, sorry, not multiple clubs. Depending on where they participate, so you might have, Amanda, correct me if I'm wrong, but there might be teams that one will compete in national and one might compete in South, for example. So one's maybe national, two's maybe South. Does that happen?
You'll have teams that compete in different divisions within a league structure.
Okay, so there will never be any cross.
No, so but actually there will be in terms of the level of competition. So the communities that we talked about,
yeah,
the majorities, you might get most South Wales Women's and North Wales Women's that will compete in the national some form of the national competitions as well.
Perfect. Cool, that makes sense. So all that means is that there are going to be, for club admins, especially, and obviously, I guess maybe not captains, because captains are usually just captain of one team, but there are going to be teams that sit in various communities across the system. So it might be that Bangor City Women's Twos sit in the, don't know where Bangor is it south or north? My Wales geography is awful.
North.
So it might be that Bangor City Women's 2 is playing the Northern League, and Bangor City Women's 1 is playing national. So that might be that there's a bit of cross communities in terms of where to manage. But essentially, this hub is where you're going to be looking after everything that's going on for that team. Okay.
Josh, can I just ask a question? When you talked about club captains or administrators being able to select their teams from there,
yeah.
When players have shown their availability and then club captains or administrators go in and select them for that weekend, does a notification automatically get sent to that individual to show that they've been selected?
Yeah, good question. Something I did forget to mention. Yes. So if you are selecting or not selecting someone, it will notify them of your decision. So if you're selecting them, you're going to say these 15 people, those 15 people will all get app notifications or email notifications.
Rian's just messaged as well in the team chat. So similar question, Rian. So just checking I've answered that. Does Playway send notifications to all team members? We use Teemo, which does the same. So members will get 2 sets of notifications. Probably a good thing though, with a laughing emoji.
Yeah, exactly. Both systems are going to do the same thing. So yeah, you're going to bombard participants for it, I think. But no bad thing maybe.
Rian, just on that point, it's probably worth a catch up. I know lots of clubs now are using Teemo, and obviously this is a new competitions platform for us. So it's probably worth a conversation offline after this in terms of does Playways do what you needed to do in terms of what you're currently using it for as a club? So therefore, do you need 2, or can you just go down to 1?
Cool.
Sorry, Josh.
That's all right. Perfect. To again, I guess go into more detail on this screen. Fixtures are obviously also accessible from here. So if I click into that, it's going to redirect me simply to this page here. It's going to automatically filter by Bangor City Women's 2s, because obviously that's the team hub I came from. And it's going to literally just going to show me a list of all of the fixtures that I've got coming up, or depending on what you filtered by. Okay, so a really quick, nice and instantaneous view of what's going on. There are things that can obviously be changed or set here. So like a fixture time, for example. I don't know, Amanda, correct if I'm wrong, but it might be that club admins or captains are setting times for fixtures. Is that right?
Yeah, so clubs will decide, home teams will decide on the timing of their fixtures.
Perfect. So Bangor City Women's 2s could use this screen to literally just come in and go, right, I'm home, or filter for home, and then go, right, I'm home for this fixture. So I know that we're going to play at 2 o'clock. Literally fill that in there and just click save on the right hand side. Same thing with venue. Now venues, me and Amanda and I are doing an exercise already to pre-upload default venues onto the system for each club. So there should literally be, I haven't done it yet, but for each club there should just be 1 or 2 venues that appear in this drop down list. So it's really easy to just go and pick the default venue that we know you guys play at typically, and it would just be there in that list, and you can just assign that to each fixture that you know needs to. So hopefully this screen is just a nice and simple one to just manage upcoming fixtures and just see what's going on.
Josh, if the home team updates the time, does that automatically update the away team's fixture list as well?
Yes. Yeah. So this is an entirely dynamic list. So it would look the same for each club. Obviously, it'd be filtered differently, but it would look the same information. So update in line automatically.
Great.
Cool. Just to briefly explain, I guess this page more, there is the ability to toggle and change to a list view if that's more appropriate to you. If you'd rather see less fixtures on a screen and just have it a bit more in front of you, then you can do that. Again, just different views with kit colors on there as well as logos and things like that. There again is the ability to increase the amount of results you see per page. If you prefer to work with larger Excel type views, then you can do and increase it to 50. If you rather just work with 10, then fine. There is the ability to export fixtures, so your fixtures, to an Excel file, if that helps you. I know lots of a common use case across sport is that lots of club administrators in particular like to work from spreadsheets. Sometimes it just helps, which we get. So we've input that functionality there for you to just export all of those fixtures, or whatever you filter those fixtures to a CSV file, and you can just manipulate them in there. So again, just built for you to be as purely dynamic as possible. Going back home briefly from, again, the league table, as I say, I expect The reason I'm not going through many views here is that I expect lots of you to just be living from largely the same places. So it's going to be the league table, it's going to be the fixtures column that you're going to be wanting to look at. Obviously, the results grid will become useful when results are entered. So you can see here that there's simply just the dates of each fixture you can see on the results grid, followed by the result if that fixture has obviously been played. Obviously, aside this, as I say, it's going to be literally the team hubs that you're working from. So from here, you can see you can set logos, set kit colors. Amanda, you and I need to make a decision on, or perhaps not, perhaps it's the club has to make a decision on whether participants need to apply to squads to get into them. And if they do, that would need a club admin or a captain to just let them in and say yes or no, or whether we just leave them open and just let people join squads and there's no validation process on it.
I guess I'd be interested to know what, from a club perspective, what your preference is for that. So, because each individual, so we've already added you onto the system as a club, and we just talked at the start around we're going to add individual teams to particular leagues or league divisions. National competitions, you will enter into the national competition and we'll put you into the relevant place. But from a playing perspective, they have to create an account through Playways, and then they can either apply to join your team and you authorize that, or anyone can just click yes, I'm with Bangor City or I'm with Cardiff Uni or Carmarthen Hockey Club, and they're just allowed to join that team. So what's the general preference from clubs?
For me, I think it would be better to be the admin allowing them in.
Okay.
Yeah, I think from a league perspective, I think we need a little bit of control, because usually at the beginning of the season we have a list of players who we expect to be playing in teams. So if that changed in the season, we would have to have notification before. So I think we need to have a bit of a level of security on that as well, in that teams aren't just putting anyone in that aren't affiliated or whatever. So that's, from a league perspective.
Okay. Just so you guys are aware, so this system doesn't link with Sport 80, which is our membership platform, but my role will be to make sure the people who are on you are actually affiliated members. So when you fill your team sheets in, we need to make sure those players are actually affiliated. Nice administration job for me there.
Amanda, there's things we can do there to tidy it up. Like if from Sport 80, do they get a membership number?
Yes.
So we could just put a field in that when everyone joins the network or the community, they could have to put in a membership number and you can just go and validate it.
Perfect. That would be really good.
We can do things like that.
Okay.
Cool. So I've kind of dotted around system and gone in various places. I think what I just want to make clear is the fact that I think the first port of call is obviously to get you guys to this place. So we need to get you into the network. Now, Amanda, I think how we need to first action that is that club administrators in particular, I'm kind of delineating easily here between club administrators and captains, as they're two separate roles on this system. Is that fair to do, or is it's kind of some of the roles are sometimes the same? Is it captains are often club admins as well?
It depends on clubs, to be honest. You might have the same. So when I send the email out, I'll just direct it to club administrators or club secretaries or club captains, and it's up to that club to decide who's going to have the overall super admin for the club.
Perfect. Okay. So what I expect to happen is that for club administrators, that's a layer of access on this system. So club administrators have the ability to do basically what I've just been showing you. So the ability to go in or look at a team hub, be able to move people in and out of a squad, be able to select team sheets, be able to set kit colors, set logos, etc. So that's a permission on the system. Not everyone will have that. So what I'm expecting is that myself and Amanda will invite club administrators onto the system. You'll receive a link, and then when you follow that link, it'll be creating an account to get you onto this page, and you already have the access you need. So you'll already have the access to your club across the system that you need. So you'll be able to go into the different teams that you need and be able to do all those things that I've shown you. Now, after that, I expect it to be a slightly different process for people, for captains and just players as well. So after that, it will be very much a case of we obviously need to get captains and get members onto the system after we've done that for you guys. Now that journey will be slightly different. I wouldn't expect that to be people following links. I'd expect that to be people coming onto the system organically. So Playways has, I'm going to explain this without showing it to you because I don't have anything in front of me to show you, but Playways has something called an activity finder, and on that activity finder will be essentially a teams search. So players will be able to go onto that activity finder that will sit on the Hockey Wales website. Maybe I'll chat to Amanda about where that sits, and filter by their club and just literally find their team. So find the team that they participate in. So if it's Bangor City Women's 1, then great. So they're going to find Bangor City Women's 1, click join, and then through that join flow, that's just going to be taken into the system. That flow will ask them any questions that we need to ask of them. So membership number, for example. It will get them to create an account, obviously, and then anything else that we need of them. And eventually they're going to land in the team in which they need to land in. So that's a completely organic process that I expect members and players just to do themselves. So hopefully it won't take much involvement for you guys. It's literally just going to be a thing of, if we do turn on that validation process of people need to apply before they get into the squad, it'll just be that from that finder that I'm talking about, people will be applying, and then you guys can, if you want to, receive notifications to go, right, Joe Bloggers has applied, I know I need to go and action that to let him in. So that's kind of what I'm expecting from you guys in terms of just being on the system, and just as I say, you guys will have the invitations, and then after that it should be organic in terms of getting everyone else online. Does that make sense, Amanda?
Yeah, guys, what I'll do is I'll send out, so we'll obviously upload this webinar to the Club's Corner of the Hockey Wales website. But I'll also do a very quick how-to guide with a couple of bullet points in terms of how does a player register and create an account, then how do they find their team and click to join their team, just so that you can send that out to your members, or even direct them to the website, and they can just follow the steps from there then.
Yeah.
It's probably also pertinent at this point in time. So whilst this is accessible on the website and stuff, there's also an app. So the idea of this is that players can literally do it from their phones or tablets or whatever they're using. And the same, Josh, can we quickly go through in terms of fixtures and about uploading results and that sort of thing, and just a brief explanation on that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The reason I didn't do it is because does it differ per league for who enters the results? Is it usually clubs or is it usually administrators?
Again, I mean, we can set those. We'll probably set it so that clubs will submit their results and league administrators will approve before it goes live.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Yes, Shelley. Yes, Ayaku.
Yeah, we definitely need to authorise it before they go onto the thing.
Cool, perfect. Okay.
So basically, as a club, you literally would submit your result via the phone as soon as it's finished. And you can do your team sheet via your phone if you wanted to. And as soon as that result is submitted, Shelley or Ayaku or any of the other South Wales League administrators will get a notification. They'll approve that result, and then it will automatically update the league tables and results.
Yeah, exactly.
Josh, I'm talking a good game, yeah?
I know, you're doing pretty good. I think you're doing better than me. I think yeah, the message to get across there is obviously that, well, I unfortunately can't show you an app screen, so I can't share my screen on my phone, otherwise I would. So everything you're seeing here is web-based. Now, like Amanda's saying, lots of these actions can just be done on your phone anyway, so I wouldn't actually expect many of you to necessarily be doing it on your laptops, because you don't need to. It's just longer. So all of this stuff can be done on app. It will look different, but it is intuitive. It hopefully will be self-explanatory. So yeah, like Amanda's saying, results can be entered, and they will then be approved by whoever they subsequently to be approved by. Do you want me to go through the entering a result phase on the web, or do you think it's just going to?
I guess I'm just going to check it out to the floor again. I think it's probably worth it, just in case some people would go home and do it via laptop or web-based anyway. So I think it would be useful to see it.
Cool.
If that's all right.
Yeah, no worries. Really nice and simple. Obviously, like Amanda's saying, I expect lots of people just do it straight off the fixture anyway, but there is a Playways reminder. So that activity feed that I mentioned at the top of the call on the left-hand side on that first page, you will get a reminder in there if you haven't done it to enter your score. So if you haven't done it after, I think, 12 hours, the system will just go, can you please enter your score for this fixture? Because it knows that you're a club admin, and it knows that you're likely to know what the result of that fixture was. So if you haven't done it, it will tell you. The process is really simple. It's literally come to your fixtures, which you can get to from obviously your team hub that I was showing you earlier. Literally click enter result, and you're presented with a scorecard that looks a bit like this. Now we will change terminology here. I know it says score, that's incorrect, but we will change this so that it's proper hockey format. You guys will then be entering, so let's say they win 5-0, and then if I move down. Now, what essentially will happen once you've got players in your teams, which obviously at the moment these are completely empty teams, there will be a list of the team sheets that appear just at the bottom here underneath notes. And then with that, you'll have player actions that can be filled in as well. So let's say the result is 5-0 to Bangor, and one player scores for all 5 goals, then it might be that you go into those player actions, find the player who scored those 5 goals, and give him those 5. So there will be actions that can be completed. Things like player of the match can also be done. Yellow cards, red cards. We'll turn all of those things on. So again, web and app, that's available. So it's not just a web thing. But that's what you'll be expected to come in and do. And then it should just save in the bottom right. As I say, I can't show you that because unfortunately we just got no members on the system to show it to you with. But there will be lists for each teams there, and the team sheets will display, and then there'll be player actions to fill in.
So it's actually quite a good tracking platform for you guys in terms of members. If you do top goal scorer at the end of the season, you can very easily come back into this system and find out who that was, or the player who's had the most player of the matches of the season, if you're going to do awards at the end of the season. I've got a question on the chat, Josh. Assuming all fixtures will be pre-populated, yes, they will, Rach. If a match is postponed due to weather, can club admins, create a fixture for the rearranged one?
It wouldn't necessarily be. It could just be as simple as changing the fixture date. So let's say it is the 2nd of October. On the 2nd of October, it absolutely rubbishes down with rain, and the fixture's called off. I'd imagine, and my recommendation in the system, from a system point of view, would just be to literally change that fixture date. So it could be as simple as that. I don't think it would need to be necessarily voided and then created again. The system isn't quite the way the system works. It would just be a change of fixture date, if that suffices.
And we'd have the admin rights to do that.
As a club administrator, again, you can do. It depends what your league administrators decide to do. It may be that you need to go via them because they've set that only league administrators can change fixture dates. Again, it's very much a contextual thing. Playways will give you the ability to give the league administrators the ability to do kind of what they want to. And then if they decide to let you, then great. If they don't, then it will just need to go through them. So that's kind of the part.
Can I step in here then, Gretch, and say it'll be league administrators that will be doing the rearranging? Sorry.
That's fine. That's just one more job for you to do. That was all.
I know, but we'll keep it as it has been for now. We'll see how it goes.
Too nice to you, Rach.
Party.
So Ayaku's just put a note in the comments now. So if a fixture is postponed, can they add a note in just to say there's been postponed due to poor weather?
Yes.
Okay.
That fixture notes can be used for pretty much anything you like.
Ayaku, I guess it's just a decision from a South Wales Women's League perspective, whether you're happy for clubs to just go in and change that, because ultimately they probably won't need to put a note in. They can just contact the other club and say the weather's really bad or whatever. But yeah. Okay.
Cool. I'm gonna save that. It will then update 5-0, and it should. There we go. Update in the table as well. So it's purely dynamic. It's all live. These league tables can also be shared. So if you guys have your own websites or have your own social media platforms or whatever, you can use this share to web button in the top right if you want to just put this, basically embed this view that you've got in front of you, just put it on a separate website. I don't know if that's helpful for any of you, but as I say, that's there to be used. So if I click into that and change to embed, that is essentially a snippet of code. And if you've got website providers that can sort it out for you, where you can just give it to them and they can put it in the right places for you, then great. If not, there's just share links that you guys can use. So that share link will just take someone to what's in front of them if you want to share how that league table is looking.
So South Wales League have got their own website. So Ayaku, I'm presuming that you guys will just embed these onto your website. Shelley, from a North Wales perspective, will embed onto the Hockey Wales website so that clubs can access league tables and standings as they are. And we'll also embed the national competitions onto our competitions page of the website as well. Thanks, Shell. So we'll embed national competitions so you can see the progressions of clubs through the knockout stages or round robins, depending on what the competition format is.
Cool. Are there any I'll stop talking. Are there any questions? I think that is pretty much everything from a you guys perspective. As I say, there are 3 communities to bear in mind. So if you do have, it's obviously unlikely you're going to be in all 3, but if you do have multiple teams that compete in some in South, some in National, for example, then it will be just 2 communities you're working from, but hopefully that's okay. Other than that, that's the Whistle Stop Tour, and that's Playways.
Question. So just a comment from my echo. So the same with the North Wales League, the South Wales League, it'll be league administrators that have the capacity to postpone fixtures. Clubs will just need to inform the league administrators of the reasons why they're postponing. And then there's a question on that: can people be in 2 squads at the same time?
Yes, they can. So all a squad is literally the people who might play for that team across the course of the season. So my message to you, for you to give to your players, would be join the squads that you might play for. So if someone mainly plays in the 1s but occasionally plays for 2s, they can be a part of both squads, and that's fine. It's obviously the team sheets that are the bit that matters in terms of each fixture. A team sheet will be completed each week anyway, so it's a squad might have 50 people in it, and that doesn't matter.
Thanks for that, Rhian. Seems much easier than GMS by England Hockey. I haven't looked at that one, to be honest. It's their new competitions platform, so
Intrigued.
yes, me too.
I'd like to see that.
Can I just ask a question? We've just started using Timo. Obviously, we're in the South Wales League, which obviously that website is going to remain. So what are the advantages to actually adding another administrative platform for us?
So Del, the whole point of Playways is that, so from a league perspective, Fixtures Live is coming to an end. And so we needed a new platform to actually run fixtures from and the competitions from, but also from a national competitions perspective for Hockey Wales. Everything's traditionally been done by pen and paper before, and there's been nothing visual for clubs to actually see who's progressing. So that's the reason for bringing in one platform to use. And actually, if we use it the same platform across all our competitions, it just makes it easier. So clubs are only using one system. I'm aware that Timo has become very popular with clubs. So again, from my advice would be to clubs is to look at the advantages of Timo and Playways and what's the capacities that you need. Ultimately, if you're going to join competitions, we'll be asking you as a governing body to use Playways. It's the only way you'll be able to administer your competitions and your leagues.
Okay.
So Timo doesn't have any of the competition capacity.
No, I can see the point in putting all your results in through this, but because we've just started Timo, I haven't started that up, but I'm wondering if sort of next year we'd be better off starting this at the beginning of next season. But obviously for the results and things, and for the updating of all the league tables and competitions, I can see, rather than someone having to populate all the information again, which has already been done on Timo.
Okay. I mean, again, the idea of this platform is it becomes paperless, so you don't have to fill in sheets of paper and then take pictures and then send them in. Everything is literally done by the click of a button, so it's meant to make it easier. I understand there's going to be some transition periods for clubs, and if you need any support with that sort of thing, then please either get in touch with me or with the league administrators that you're with. So if it's national competitions, I'll happily support and help out. And if it's the leagues, I think you need to liaise with them. But ultimately, what we're saying is we're going with this competition platform this year, and you will have to have a certain level of administration to do at the start. But once it's done, it's done. It's just a one-off.
Yeah.
So all you have to do next year is just update who that administrator is. Your club information should already be in there. So there's a little bit of work to do at the start, but hopefully in the long run, it'll make things a lot easier for clubs, but also for competition administrators as well.
Yeah, okay. I'm sure somebody else will look at this as well and decide what
I'm happy to pick this up offline with anyone. So if you want to book a meeting in with me or a call in with me, Del, I'm more than happy with that, and we can talk about some support.
That's fine. I'll speak to Kate probably and
Okay.
Yes.
Question on the chat, can we still enter the national competitions? Of course, so we haven't gone out yet with entries, so that will be coming out hopefully by the beginning of next week for national comps. We're just working out whether we're going to do entries through the platform or whether we do it via a separate form, which Jane has previously done. National competition stuff will start to come out next week. And I'll be sending an update in terms of, depending on where you're at, what competition does it mean you enter into. Any more?
I've got a question, sorry.
Right, Rich?
It's just to, sorry, it's me again. It's just to add to that, because we use a games management system called Spond, and it's really working for us. So the players currently put their availability in through that app. Is there a requirement on Playways for the players to interact with it, or can the captains just go in and, using the information received from Spond, can they then put the teams in, or do the players have to interact with Playways for the captain to be able to then do the tick box?
Would you like me to answer this one, Amanda?
Yes, please, Josh.
The easy answer is to complete team sheets. If team sheets are mandated to be completed on Playways, then the players will have to be on the system. So there are ways of adding people into the system. So a club admin or a captain could add people into the squad, and that could literally be as simple as putting a name and an email address down of a player, and that puts them into the system. Now that would make that.
It's not a problem getting them into the system. What my question is, do they then have to state their availability, which is something that they're already doing elsewhere, or that then allows them to be live to be selected?
No. So
the captains just enter that once they've received that information from an alternative app.
Yeah. So if they're doing it via another app, absolutely fine. And if the captain or the club admin will sit there and just go, right, I know that I've got these 15 people selected on this app here, I'll just do that on Playways, and you can do that. That's fine. So it doesn't necessarily need to mean that availability has to be done on the system by the player.
It's all right, Rach.
That's spot on. That, yeah. I'm just I'm going to have a lot of people registered on a lot of different things. So because we're playing across the border as well, so I'm going to have all my members registered on Sport 80, GMS, Playways, and Spond. So yeah, leave that one with me.
Okay, again, if there's anything we can do to support with that, then please give me a shout. Look, guys, I guess
if you want, Bobs.
Pardon?
Could be club admin if you want. If that would be real.
I wouldn't go that level, but thanks for that offer. Guys, I guess I get that people are using different platforms, and this is going to be very new for us this year. And if we can make both work alongside each other, then great. And it might be that you review where you're at as a club next year, knowing the full capabilities of the competitions platform that we're using. And then in a year's time, you might make a decision, or in 6 months' time, you might make a decision to go entirely with this system, or you might want to keep the two. And we just need to work out how does that work. So I think, there's going to be lots of learnings and things going on. Simon, question from you, is there a deadline before a game when a team has to be finalised? I'm guessing that's going to be set by the leagues or by the competition administrators. So, and they'll inform all the club admins, or they might send a push notification out to say that, don't forget your team sheet has to be submitted 4 days prior to the fixture or whatever. So that would be set by the competition administrators.
Yeah. You don't need me, you know the answers to these questions.
I don't know. The nodding is reassuring. Any more? I'm happy if you guys think of some questions after this evening to drop me an email. So I'll do a follow-up email after tonight. But if anyone does want to email me, it's amanda.roberts@hockeywales.org.uk. But I'll put it out with a message. Rach, so cup competitions going through this platform as well, yes. So our national competitions will use this platform. This is where I need Jane's help now to hold my hand. Jane's the competitions guru.
So we won't need to enter teams into TMS as well.
I'm hoping not, because that's another platform that you have to use. So that's the conversation I'll pick up internally and confirm with you outside of tonight. No, right. We'll just sort of summarize now. So after tonight, we'll send an invitation out to club administrators who are going to have overall super admin access to their club section on Playways. And we'll send that out to all clubs that are going to likely enter into national competitions, plus the South Wales Women's and North Wales Women's Leagues. And then I'll do a quick how-to guide in terms of how does a player set up Playways and how do they join their club. So you can send that out to your club members if they need to. And those are the main ones from tonight. I'll confirm TMS, Rach, anyway, just so that you're aware. And I think that's about it, Josh, isn't it, in terms of getting them set up?
Pretty much, yeah. From a club administrator point of view, like I say, it's just going to be invitation links for those guys, and then we'll both provide some support on how to onboard players. But it really is that simple. And then once you're in the system, hopefully the recording of this, if you need to refer back to, is there. But yeah, I think that's it. Okay,
cool. Well, if no one else has got any questions, thank you very much for your time tonight. Special thanks to Josh for coming on for the meeting. Like I say, if anything pops up that you're not sure on or you think of outside of this meeting, then please do drop me an email. But otherwise, have a great rest of the evening, and hopefully I'll touch base with you all soon.
Cheers,
thanks, guys.
Thanks very much.
Thanks.